With everything getting more and more expensive, it's nice to know that there are still some affordable drugstore makeup brands that you can get really good products and a beautiful look. Today, I am going to do a full face of e.l.f. products. Now, e.l.f. is one of those drugstore brands that has some products that are kind of creeping up there in price, but they also have some that are really true to their roots when you could get products for $2, $3, and $4. So I will put the price of everything in the corner here as I put it on my face, and I will have everything listed down below in the description box so that you can find it if you're interested in it. My intent with these videos is not to entice you to go out and purchase anything that you don't think you need, but that if you are in need of something, that perhaps my review will help you know if it's for you or not. To that end, I am 57, I have fine lines and wrinkles, and some not so fine lines and wrinkles. I do still have slightly oily skin, especially in the T-zone, but because I use a retinol product, I also have some areas that will get dry and sometimes a little bit flaky. I have actually not purchased anything for this video. Everything I'm using was already in my stash, and they're products that I use on a regular basis and that I love. If you like this full face one brand style, I have one that I've done with Essence products that I'll link up here, and I'll put it as a link at the end as well to make it easy to go to it if you want to watch it when you're done with this one. First product I'm going to use is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I really enjoy this primer. It is a gripping primer. And it helps to keep your makeup on. You can see that it's kind of tacky when you put it on, and I like to let this set down for just a little bit before I go in with my makeup. I also have this e.l.f. Prep and Blur Stick, and I don't really hear people talking about this much. It's all about their putty primers right now, but this stick is really good for blurring your pores as well. So I'm going to put that right through here and on my nose and kind of up here and on my chin, and then just come back and kind of smooth it out and press it in. And the sun was behind the clouds when I first started this, but now it's kind of coming in on this. So let me fix my curtain here and I'll be right back. There, I think that lighting is better. As the angle of the sun changes, I have a south-facing window over here, and it comes in a lot more strongly as the sun dips lower in the sky. So I have to kind of make some adjustments. I think that lets you see better. Anyway, I'm going to come in close so you can see how well, I should have done one side, how well that really blurred those pores through there. And it's super easy to use. Full disclosure here, foundations are not something that I've had a lot of success finding at e.l.f. I did not like the Camo CC cream. I know that there are people who love it. Didn't work for me. I think it's because my skin is oily. I also did not like the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation, and I do have a video on that one as well if you're interested in my thoughts on that. However, I was not going to give up, and I finally tried this e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation, and I really like this. So if I review a product from a brand and it doesn't work for me, it does not mean that I think the entire brand is junk. Just means that that product didn't work for me. And I'm glad that I didn't quit. This says that it has a satin finish, and I have the color 210 Bisque. It's a little bit dark for me as we're going into winter, but it was great through the summertime. So I'm going to put that on, and it still does work. It's not like it's too dark. But I'm also one who tends to pick foundations that are too light for me. And so when I say that it's too dark, it actually might be just right. Anyway, it's a little bit thicker, and it is a medium to full coverage, I would say. But it doesn't look heavy or cakey. And so look at how pretty that is compared to no makeup on that side. Just really like the finish. Let's speed through getting the rest of this on, shall we? e.l.f. is a clean brand. It's paraben-free, it's vegan, and it's also cruelty-free. I just realized that I don't have an e.l.f. concealer. I have used and love the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, but I used it up as part of my PUD project this year, and I have not yet repurchased it because I'm going through some other concealers. So I'm actually not going to use a concealer. We're just going to take some of this foundation, put it up under my eyes, and see what happens. Why not, right? It isn't going to give me the brightening effect that using a concealer that's a little bit lighter would, But honestly, that's not bad. I do have a powder that's going to help, however. And hey, since I don't have a concealer and I don't have an eye primer, let's just put it everywhere. Why not? And I was thinking that I might build that up a little, but I don't think I need to. I'm going to just leave it like it is. You can build it if you want a little more coverage on darker spots or that sort of thing, but my skin's actually in pretty good shape right now, so we're going to leave well enough alone. Let's move into powder. I have this e.l.f. Corrector Yellow powder, and I'm going to try to use this under my eyes as like a banana brightening powder. Oh, it's really yellow. I'm a little scared, but we're going to give it a try. I do want to make sure that I don't have any creases, so I pick up my 10X mirror, kind of straighten things out a little, and then dab, and then we're going to put that brightening powder right there. What do you think? Powder? No powder. At least it doesn't look yellow. That was my concern, that I'm going to look like a banana. It's really bright. Ooh, just spilled it all over myself. Now I know why it was on the bottom of my powder drawer, because I'm not so sure about that. But the e.l.f. Beauty Shield powder I actually do really like, and I'm going to use that to set the rest of my face. I have the shade Sheer Natural. And I'm just going to dab that. I'm actually going to kind of cover that banana powder because I think it kind of did give me a little bit of a yellow tint. Nobody wants to look like a minion. This is a really finely milled powder and does a great job of setting and blurring. And I just think my skin, it looks very flat, don't get me wrong, but I think it looks really pretty. I have two shades of the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I have Honey Drip, which is a slightly warmer shade, but still not too warm. And then I have Feeling Shady, which is a very cool tone, great for if you want to use it for a contour. I'm just going to go ahead and use the warmer color today. I'm going to use the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to put this on. So I just kind of go in and dab, and then right along there, along the cheekbone, and blending up. And it's doing a pretty good job over the powder. I got a little much on that side. We'll blend it out with the Beauty Blender. And I like going up in the hairline, even though you never see it. Now that I have a little bit less on the brush, let's go back and see if we can blend this side a little bit. Oh, that's better. Okay. So that went on just fine over the powder. It didn't lift anything underneath or cause any problems at all to go over powder, so thumbs up on that. e.l.f. does not make it easy to find the colors on these smaller packages. I think I have this in Tahiti. This is the e.l.f. Putty Blush, but I also have the primer infused blushes and primer infused shimmer blush. So I'm not sure which one I want to use, but I think we'll start with the Putty Blush and then maybe we'll put powder over it later. Who knows? I have the stippling brush from Coastal Scents, which doesn't exist anymore, sadly, but it's just a standard stippling brush. And I like this kind of brush for a cream blush. Just kind of pat it in there. I do kind of take a little on my hand just to make sure I don't have too much before I go in. Start small and then add. It's always easier to add than it is to take away. I think this might be getting a little dry. Okay, so the surface of this was actually a little dry, and so I rubbed my finger in it and kind of rubbed off that surface, and now it's really creamy again, and I'm able to get a little more out. So, there's a little tip. If your putty blush seems like it's drying out, it's probably just the top layer. Much better. That's a lot. We'll blend it, don't worry. Take that sponge that still has your foundation on it and is still damp and go over those edges and blend to soften. Just like that. See, then I have two options for highlighters. I have the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Blush Gems, and then I have the e.l.f. Jelly Highlighter in Bubbly. I'm not sure which one I want to use. This jelly highlighter is, you know, it's like a bowl full of jello there. But the baked one is so pretty. Another Real Techniques, this is the setting brush. I'm gonna swirl that in there and put that right on my cheekbone. I think I have a blanket print on my face still from sleeping last night. That's pretty. It's really subtle, but it's buildable. I like that. I like that a lot. It's not glittery. It's just a really nice lit from within shimmer. Very pretty. Before I do my eyes, I'm going to go in with this little $2 eyebrow pencil, and it does have a spoolie on it, so there's no excuse for anybody not to be able to put a spoolie on their eyebrow pencil. I'm going to brush up the little bit of brow hairs that I have. This is not a micro brow pencil, it is just a regular brow pencil. You can do your brows quickly with this, but if you want fine detail, this one's not going to give it to you. And the color I have is taupe. I'm just going to start at the front edge here, making short little strokes. And filling in just like that. I mean, it's super quick, and use the spoolie to kind of blend things, make it look a little less harsh. And there's my eyebrows. If you don't want to fuss with your eyebrows, this is a really good pencil for just getting them done and moving on. I do not have an e.l.f. brow gel, so we're going to skip that step and go into eyeshadow. For my eyes, I'm going to use two of the e.l.f. Bite Size because they're only $3. It's still very affordable even to combine them. This one is Cream and Sugar, and this one is Berry Bad. And I want some of the lighter colors from Cream and Sugar because this one has a nice crease color, but I like having a little bit lighter shade up on the top. And then this one also has a little bit lighter shimmer that you could use for an inner corner. So we're going to combine them. First, going into Cream and Sugar, I'm going to use this lightest color here to start setting my crease. And I probably should have made sure, yeah, since I used foundation for my eyeshadow primer, probably need to make sure there's no creasing there. We are going today to a nearby city that has a sip and shop event where you pay a certain fee to get in and you get a wine glass, and then each shop has a winery or brewery, distillery, paired with it, and you can go in and shop and then taste the beverages that the winery, brewery, or distillery has brought with them. So several members of my family are going to do this today and maybe get some Christmas shopping done. Going into the berry now with this crease color to kind of start getting some definition there in the crease. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's a really pretty day. It was cold this morning though. I had to turn the heat on, and it was very windy and kind of wet. We had storms overnight. But now the sun is out and it's still windy, so it's going to be a little chilly, but not like it was earlier. And then after we do the sip and shop, we're going to all go out to dinner, and a couple of the kids who were not able to go with us for the event because of things that they had going on will be joining us for dinner. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be a fun day. All right, now, I don't really have a matte in between this one and this deep one, so I think I'm just going to go right ahead into the berry shimmer and put that down in the outer corner. I will use the deeper shade to kind of deepen up the outer corner and then bring it across the crease when there's less on the brush. And when I do that, it will help define that upper edge. Yes.
One eternity later.
So a trick you can use if you want your shimmers to be a little more poppin' is when you get them on your finger, take your setting mist The setting mist I'm going to be using today is the e.l.f. Hydrating Coconut Mist. And just spray your finger and then tap it on, and it will help it to adhere and to give you a little bit more oomph in the shimmer department. This works really well too if you have a shimmer that's a little more crumbly, to help it adhere. Then I'm going to take the color next to it that I just stuck my fingernail into, and I'm going to put that kind of in the center of the lid. Yeah, I have made a complete mess with this shadow. I have it everywhere. It's just slightly lighter and a little bit more shimmering than the one I put in the outer corner. But then I'm going to come back into Cream and Sugar, and I want to use this really lighter color here for the absolute inner corner, so that this isn't too dark. I just really like a lighter color in that inner corner to open my eyes up. I'm going to take a denser, fluffy brush into the deepest color in the Berry Bad, and I'm going to build up that outer V area for some definition in the outer corner, and then drag that across the crease, just in the crease, not above it. And then pull that under the eye with what's left on the brush. I'm not getting too deep and smoky with this one, but it's just a nice berry fall kind of look. I'm going to take a pencil brush and go into that lighter color right there and just kind of finish and lighten up the under eye, like so. I do not have an e.l.f. eyeliner, so I'm going to use this dark brown in the Cream and Sugar on a liner brush, and I'm going to go in with that, tap a little off, and then just use that and press it right into the lash line. Actually, I'm going to take this and spray just a tiny little spot on my palette, and I'm going to dip my brush in that, and so that it's a little wet, which will intensify the color and also help it to adhere to the lash line. Almost making a liquid liner in the palette. There. So if you don't have a liner, you can always use a shadow. And this is my palette. This part's a mess from where I broke that shadow, but over here you can see where I sprayed, and then I'm using the shadow and the setting spray to kind of make a liquid liner. And it works really well. You could get a liner to match any look if you just use the dark shadow in your palette and your setting spray. I would prefer to have a concealer, not gonna lie. I don't think that the foundation does as good a job brightening the under eye and covering the little bit of darkness that I have there in the inner corners, but it's not bad. Before I go into my mascara, I'm going to use the setting mist. Again, this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Coconut Mist. If you don't like coconut, you won't like it. It does smell like coconut, but I don't mind the smell of coconut. My absolute favorite setting spray is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. Been through about 3 of these. I have not repurchased it yet, and what's in here is not the e.l.f. This is the best mister of any setting spray I think I've ever used. And the setting spray itself is really good as well. I haven't tried the blue light one. If you've tried that one, let me know what you think, especially if you've tried both of them. Do you like the blue light one better than this one, or this one better? Because I wanted to try it, but I like this one so well that I'm afraid I'll be disappointed. Anyway, this coconut hydrating one is also really nice, and it does give a little bit more of a glow to your skin, which, you know, isn't always bad as long as it doesn't make me look greasy. And this one does not, especially since it's going to be cooler today. If it was hot, I probably would not have used this one, because then I would be sweaty and glowy, and that's just not a good look. I'm going to curl my lashes, be right back. All right, lashes are curled, and I am going to use the e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara today. I really like this mascara. It's one of the stiffer silicone kind of brushes, small bristles, but it's really good for getting in there and separating those lashes. And you can build it up to give you some length and volume as well. A lot of times I will use this as my first mascara because it does such a good job of separating. And then I will come in with my Lash Princess or something like that for the second coat to really build volume. But we're just going to use this one all by itself today because it's the only e.l.f. mascara I own, and it's a full face of e.l.f. I'm going to do the other eye and I'll be back. So I have 2 coats on this eye and just 1 on this one, and I think you can see how well it builds up on itself. I have my lashes done, fixed my bangs, nothing left but lips. I have the Love Triangle Lip Liner and Filler in soft pink. This is one of those that has the triangular shape, but it doesn't stay triangular. This is the same issue I have with triangular brow products. They don't stay triangular. Yes, they come out and they have supposedly, this sharper tip on one side and the rounded tip on the other, but once you use it, it just kind of rounds off the whole thing. However, I do like the color and I do like the lip liner. And you can line with it, or then you can fill in your lips, which helps keep your lipstick on longer. Or I guess more accurately, it leaves color behind when your lipstick wears off because it's more matte. And then I have the Day to Night Lipstick Duo in the Best Berries. And I'm actually going to use the daytime side. And these are super creamy and so comfortable, and this color is really pretty. The night side is a deeper wine berry, but I think I want the daytime one for now, although there's nothing that says you can't wear a deep wine during the daytime. They're not the boss of you. If you want to wear that one during the day, you go for it. This is so comfortable, I wouldn't need a gloss over it, but in order to show you more products, I'm also going to use the e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss, and I believe this is Champagne. Let me check. Champagne Glam. It does plump, and you can see mine's getting pretty close to gone there, but it's not uncomfortable, and the tingle doesn't last. That's one thing about the Buxom. I have a couple of small sizes of those, and it's not an uncomfortable tingle necessarily, but it lasts a really long time, which I guess means that it's pumping for a really long time, but I don't know. So we're just going to put a little of that Champagne Glam right in the center just to kind of make it look more plump and juicy. And that's my full face of e.l.f. And it just goes to show that you don't have to spend a lot in order to get a really pretty look and products that really work well. They are not just good for the price, they're just good. So I promised that I would link the Essence full face video right here. If you'd like to go check that out, please do. I hope that you have a beautiful, blessed day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.